All right, well, welcome everybody. Thanks for returning with us here to Global Brew. We're really excited to be back going with our coaches show. I think it's a great opportunity to hear from our coaches and kind of get an update about where the season's going. I'm Joe Pott. I am happy to be joined by our head women's basketball coach, Samantha Quigley-Smith. Coach, welcome back.
Thanks.
Obviously, it's been a tough start to the season, and injuries have played a big part of that. You've played a lot of the season until recently without KK. You've played all of the season without Sophie Lois. So just kind of talk about where that puts you, just almost out of the gate. It feels like, at a disadvantage almost just to start the year.
Yeah, a little bit tough, but also a great opportunity for our players that have returned and that really were big contributors last year to get even more substantial playing time early on in the season here, really getting us ready for the Ohio Valley Conference. Had quite a few close games here in the first stretch, so I know our team knows how to play in those situations now. And so great to see KK on the floor the last couple games. I think that's one thing we've all been waiting for. And I said this to one of our players after our game the other night. We've played 360 days without her. Now we have to learn how to play with her again. So just exciting to have her back in the lineup and everything moving forward here.
I know that you have always been a proponent of challenging your team in the non-conference schedule, and when you look at some of the teams you played, Murray State's got 5 wins already, UCF has 7 wins already, Loyola has 6 wins. Like, you've done that again this year, so it's not as if this has been an easy road anyway.
Yeah, I think it's preparing us for the league, and I'm sure a lot of our fellow coaches here and our AD are looking at me like, "What are you doing, Coach Sam?" Yeah, but I think that's definitely toughened us up and gotten us to a place of being ready for what's to come. And I've said this to our team the last week or so: the next 22 games are all winnable games, which is really exciting for our group. The parity in the Ohio Valley Conference the last couple of years has definitely changed. So anybody can win on any given night, which makes it a really exciting league and a really exciting time to play in the league.
I think it would be really easy for a team, that's had a tough start to just sort of lay down and say, oh, this is how it is, woe is us, whatever. I've not been in a ton of practices. I've been in enough practices to see that there's a ton of fight. There's zero time where I felt like, oh my gosh, they've lost it. They want to get better. Yeah,
a ton of competitiveness. We have women that really want to win. They're hungry to win. Obviously, in the last year and a half, this is a group that have 10 returners back for this season and on this roster, and so they're definitely ready to turn a corner. And so we've had some of these experiences early on in our group. I would say more than anything are just like really ready to change and to be different. And so that's what our focus has been in practice every day, like really grinding, practicing different than we did the day before. Elevating our competitiveness and getting to a place of, okay, this is what it takes to win a game. This is what it takes to win a close game. And so if our group can continue to do that day by day, we're only going to improve and get better.
That's interesting that you say practice differently than you did the day before, because I know also there's something to routine, and this is how we do it. But what advantage, what does that do for your team when there is a little different to what Monday looks like from what Wednesday looks like?
Yeah, it's just constant improvement and constant elevating of your competitiveness. I said this to a few of our players. I said, do you think about game day like you think about practice? Are you as excited and intense about game day as you are about practice? We practiced 44 times now. We've only played 8 games. So you have so much more opportunity in practice to really show and to work hard and to get yourself better. And so a lot of our players look to me like, oh no, I'm not as excited about practice. And so I think now they're thinking about that and that being in their minds, like practice has to be your game day. And if you're a player that is scratching, clawing for playing time, even more so, practice has to be your opportunity to show why you should be on the floor, why you should be competing, why you're different than someone else on your team. And so that emphasis on practice has been huge for us.
It leads me to another thought too, it's not just about the physical, it's about the mental, right? And it is about how what that approach looks like to, like you said, not just practice, game day, all of that, right?
Yeah, definitely. And our group has been like acknowledging, hey, can we all find this and connect on the same night and the same day? We had some really great post play yesterday. Our shooters shot well against UCF, a Big 12 team. Now can we come together on the same night and same day? I think that's going to be something really special when it happens, hopefully sooner rather than later.
I want to ask you personally about going back to Chicago, going back to DePaul, obviously a place that is special to you and a place that you and your sister both had great success. But what was that like for you to take your team into Chicago and into DePaul?
Yeah, really amazing. They had built a brand new arena, obviously after we stopped playing at DePaul. So we never got to play in it as players, but my sister Allie got to play in it as a member of the Chicago Sky and win a championship in that arena. I think that was the last time I was even in that arena before we played DePaul a couple of Sundays ago. So just to be able to be in there, a lot of the coaches are the same coaches when I was playing, so a lot of the same assistant coaches. Obviously, Doug Bruno's son, Bradley Bruno, was an assistant on our staff our first couple of years here at SIUE. So just to be able to see those people, all of the same people that, you know, I was in the grind with at DePaul for 5 years as a fifth-year senior, you know, I think that was just a really special moment for our family. Our whole crew came out. I think we had more fans than DePaul, if I counted right. We had quite the showing of SIUE people out there. So.
Is that important for you or for your team too, to kind of see that and get a sense of who you are and who you know what made you to who you are today?
Yeah, for sure. We talked about that. Obviously, we were playing and practicing on it's Coach Doug Bruno court, the coach that coached me in college, who's their head coach, and right now he's taking a little bit of a leave for a sickness. But just being on that court and seeing the impact that he's had on all of these women, you know, he's someone who molded me and made me want to be a coach. And so sharing that with them, I think it was really special. We had a lot of Chicagoland women too that are on our roster, so getting them to get up there to play in front of family and friends, it was a great experience.
Coach, we'll have you back in just a little bit. We're going to visit with KK Rodriguez, but thanks for the first segment, and we'll see you back in a couple of minutes.
Awesome. See you soon.
Cougars head coach Samantha Quigley-Smith. Back to segment number 2. I am pleased to welcome here to us, this is her second visit here, but it's graduate student KK Rodriguez with us here. Welcome, KK.
Hi, guys.
All right, so you and I have had a chance to visit a little bit over the summer, but I think it's important for folks that don't know, obviously you played, was it 10 games last year before you got injured? 10 games last year before you got injured. The rest of the year out with a knee injury. And I know there was a decision to be made there. Should I come back? You had already gotten your degree, or you were getting your degree in the spring. To return, to go through everything that you went through physically, mentally, to get back ready to play Division I basketball. Why the decision to come back to SIUE?
Yeah, so like you said, it was a hard decision at first. I actually ended up getting my second degree. So my thought process was like, you know what, I feel like I've exhausted what I needed to get out of basketball. Like before I came back, there was no plans to play professionally. So I had a lot of conversations with Coach Sam and Coach Ariel, and it was just about okay, what do you want to do? It's up to you. There's no pressure. We support you fully on what you want to do. And I kind of got into the conversation of do you want to play professionally? So I'm just I don't know. That was never in my thought process. Coming out of high school, leaving Tulsa, I came back just strictly because I love basketball so much and just wanted to have fun. And I started getting some KK, you could play. If you really want to, you can. So Coach Sam, we sat down and I made a decision yes, I want to come back. And so I think that was the biggest thing. And then just knowing how much not only Coach Sam, Coach Ariel, the rest of the coaching staff, my teammates, but to see all the love that I was receiving within athletic department, not even just the athletic department, the school itself. It was who wouldn't want to come back where there's literally open arms waiting for you to come, So I think having that was more than enough for me.
So that said, what was it like then to get finally back on the floor for a game when you did so against Middle Tennessee?
I'm not gonna lie. I was sitting on the bench really nervous, legs twitching, and then I finally got on the court. It was okay, it left for a second, the nerves, but then it was okay, now I have to figure, I've been playing with my teammates, I've been playing with the practice players, but now I have to figure out how to play with my teammates and then play against another team that, because I know what my teammates are, we all do, and we watch the film, but it's it's different, going out there, it's a game, it's game time to go. So playing against MTSU, it was a little rough for me, but hitting that first basket just kind of it made the nerves go away a little bit. Like, and then going into Evansville, I felt a little more confident. And then I've had conversations with Coach Sam and Coach Ariel. They're letting me know, like, don't be hard on yourself. Like, we know what you can do. And now you don't have to like have that on your shoulder where you feel like you have to go out there and do everything. And I don't feel like that, because I feel like we are surrounded by a great group of girls that can do from shooting to post play to ball handle, like girls that can do a lot of things. So knowing that has like brought a lot of like comfort in a way. So, you know, my thing is just trying to like figure out the decision making now, because now I'm just like, but from a physical aspect, you know, I'm back out on the floor, getting knocked around. Nothing new. It's like I just came right back into it. So it's been actually kind of fun.
Has the time away, so the time on the bench last year to start this year, has that given you a different perspective of the game?
Oh, for sure. Like, you know, like when a coach tells you something, you're in the middle, you're thinking like, okay, coach, like I feel like I did it, like, and you like in your back of your mind, you're like, like, okay, coach. But now when you see other people doing it after the coach has said like, okay, you gotta do this and that in the third. So now when I'm out there, I'm like, when they say something to me, I just take it on the chin, like, okay, cool, like, because I feel like now I'm kind of like relearning everything all over again. So, but yeah.
But and I imagine that's not necessarily a bad thing, right? It's just it's a different phase of you as a player.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm just taking that as a learning moment. Like, you know, you get to a point in your career where you feel like you don't know it all, but like you're like playing really well, and then to like come back to a level where it's just like now you're trying to not relearn basketball, but like relearn like your decision making in college, because it's a lot different than high school. Like high school, you probably get hurt, go down, you can come back, but you know, college is a different beast. But you know, I just been trying to lean on the coaches as much as I can in this whole process.
What about during that process, other players? Did other players come to you again? Because as someone who's seeing this from a different perspective and not necessarily a part of what is happening, decision making, like you said, could you offer anything to other players?
Like that's been in my position?
No, like the players that were playing. Were you seeing some things that maybe they weren't?
Yeah, for sure. I feel like there's been a lot of instances like Macy. I feel like I've taken her under my wing, like, because I feel like she is a great scorer as well. And I know sometimes that like she gets down because like she's not seeing the wins, and sometimes you're not seeing the stats that you want to see, but you can see the potential in Macy. So like I take her, like I'm like, Macy, like, you have to have a mentality where you want to go get it, you know, like, and just there's like my family member actually sent me a picture of a live photo of me talking to Macy, and I'm just like, you got it, like, it's okay, don't worry, it's gonna suck right now, but when it starts to all click, it'll be good. So I've been trying, you know.
No, without a doubt. I think there's something obviously really valuable about that, not just you being in an older player that has some experience that way, but again, you do, I think, obviously see things a little differently when you're not part of that play, when you're able to kind of separate yourself and see from the bench. So let me ask you, as a veteran player, obviously, you've got a game to go before conference play, which starts a little bit earlier this year. So what's your outlook going into conference play? You've seen the OVC enough. You've seen kind of what that grind looks like when you get into the Thursday, Saturday routine. What do you think this team has the potential to do once you get into the OVC?
I think we have a lot of great potential. I don't know, like, I'm pretty sure, remember 2 years ago, we went into conference with 1 win and came out, and we had a lot more wins than going in. So, and I'm pretty sure that we ended up beating the #1 team in the conference. So I think that from the OVC standpoint, they're going to be surprised when they see us come in. Like Coach Sam talks about it. We have so many different pieces, and right now, like, we're trying to put it together, and then Sophie's coming, like, supposed to make her come back, and like, so now we have to like adjust to playing with each other. People are still getting used to playing with me, and like I'm still getting used to playing with them as well. But I think moving forward, I'm really excited about the OVC. Like, I think we can really do some damage.
You mentioned Sophie, and obviously going through her own injury situation, hopefully coming closer to resolving that. But have you been a sounding board at all for Sophie and what she's gone through?
I think when she first got hurt, we really I think me and Sophie got a lot. Like, we were already close.
Sure.
Like, we're just being older, and like she was one of the people that had already been here when Coach Sam finally was here. So we have really just like gone back and forth about like, she was like, how was it like when you got hurt? And I was just like, you know, like, it sucked. I don't want to like sugarcoat anything. I want you to know that like it's gonna suck, and it like you're gonna mentally want to like take step backs, but like you just gotta find it in like not just within you, but like in the team to just be that person that like we all lean on. Because we look at Sophie like I look up to Sophie in a lot of different ways that she probably doesn't even know.
Yeah.
But and I try to tell her that as much as I can, like try to keep her positive, because I know like the road is hard, especially getting hurt right before your senior season. I couldn't imagine that.
Yeah.
So we just, and anytime she has a doctor's appointment, we talk about it. Anytime I have a doctor's appointment, we talk about it. Anytime there's things we need to talk about with the team, we sit down. Okay, like what do you think we need to do about this? Or she'll be like, I'll be like, Sophie, how can I lead on the court from your perspective? What can I do better? So
that's awesome. Well, we look forward to seeing you back at home. You'll play your first home game on Sunday when SIUE plays host to SIU Carbondale. That's a 3:30 game. So we're excited. I'm excited that you're back. I know everyone's excited that you're back, and I can't wait to see you back at First Community Arena.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
KK Rodriguez. One final segment here with our women's basketball program. Back here with us is the head women's basketball coach, Samantha Quigley-Smith. Want to touch on a couple of things, just kind of piggybacking on what we were talking about. Talked about having, yourself go home to Chicago, but you have the opportunity to do that for players as well, and to bring some players back to play either in their hometowns or close to their hometown. Going to Florida, a perfect example.
Yeah, Ava Stoller, one of our sophomores, got a chance to go home. Orlando. She's from St. Pete Beach. If you know much about what Florida's gone through in the last year and a half, her family was hit pretty hard with their hurricane there. So just to be able to bring her home, see a lot of family and friends. She had a huge crew that came out. Again, I think it was one of those instances where SIU had a lot of fans compared to UCF. So it was really cool. And it was really, I would say, one of her coming out games this season where she's been kind of struggling a little bit. And so got an opportunity to play her best basketball in front of her hometown crowd, which was awesome.
And we should say that when we were originally scheduling everyone to come here, Hallie Smith was going to be joining us, and she's a little bit under the weather this morning, but she had a heck of a game yesterday afternoon at Evansville.
Yeah, she did. I think we've been looking for that balance in our post play, and Bree Woldridge has been a great start for us in being someone who can play back to the basket, be a rebounding presence, and now Hallie had a great game last night, and Bree did as well. They were both in double figures. So just to have that post presence when you have a dynamic scorer like KK coming back, to be able to have the inside presence that you need, and now the outside presence, get our shooters clicking, and this is going to be really great.
So short term, Carbondale comes to town on Sunday. You've got this week, which I know finals week is always a little bit interesting, right? I know that you're trying to balance some practice time and preparation, and obviously there's a focus on academics as they finish up this semester as well.
Yeah, certainly. We give them a day or two off here where they can really lock in from a classroom standpoint. Many of them had some finals even before this week, so some of them are even finished already, even here on this Monday, but some of them still have quite a few going into Wednesday and Thursday. So, but just to be able to have a little bit of a break and the breather, and this week off from games. We've been on the road a little bit, so to be able to be back home in your own bed, getting some good sleep, I think that's always good for a D1 athlete, especially during finals week.
Short term, what are you preparing for when it comes to Carbondale? What kind of challenges will the Salukis present?
Yeah, these next two games, really high-level athletes who drive the ball. So our group is really locked in defensively. We've got to have a great few practices of getting prepped and ready for a team like this. We're going to rebound as well, so crashing the glass, making sure we get bodies on people, and just really getting us ready for this league that we're about to see here 2 games before Christmas, and then we'll get into league play January 2nd, which is exciting.
So a little bit of a schedule shift too. The addition of 2 games from last year, 18 to 20 games this year, and then kind of taking that weekend off around Christmas, so it gives you a little bit of a break. Do you like having a couple of games in the league before you get on a break?
I think it's not bad. You get a real feel for the league and a sense of it, and hopefully get a couple wins to get some confidence going after Christmas and into league play. So I think it's different for sure, but it's also exciting for our group. And then you get that little Christmas break, holiday break, get a chance to go home for a little bit, come back and grind, and have 5 or 6 practices before the conference really starts.
And that can be a real help too, just having a little bit of that break. Like you said, the family time, the rest, but it's not, in this situation, you don't have to rush back for a game on the 27th, 28th.
Yeah, and that's usually how the schedule looks. You know, you have a conference game usually like on that 27th or 28th, which means you potentially are coming back Christmas night or the 26th morning. There's a traveling day, and you're trying to get your team back here to get like a quick 2 practices and after a Christmas holiday. And so just for our group to be able to have a little bit of a breather and a little bit of a break, I think would be good for them, recharge their batteries, and then have some great practices before league play.
Coach Sam, as you look at the Ohio Valley Conference and you look at, I mean, I can't imagine, first of all, just even trying to scout from year to year because of the differences that each team has. But what have you seen kind of as you look at what's coming up here from the OVC?
Yeah, you know, some of the best players on each team have transferred out.
Yeah.
So interesting dynamic for the entire league. And when players transfer out, obviously players transfer in. So you have to learn and watch a lot of film on players, you know, they were playing with a different group the year before. And so you're just on, you know, all the different film sites and trying to figure out, okay, who's a player and how are they going to contribute to this new group that they're with. And then obviously we have a good cushion of games here in the non-conference to be able to really scout individuals and teams and see what they're running, see what they're really good at. You know, I think I've claimed to our team this year, we've been a really great team when it comes to scouts. You know, we played a UCF, a DePaul team who were really big, and I think the girl at UCF was like 6'6", 6'7". And so to be able to scout that team and understand what it took to be in position to win the game in the middle of the fourth quarter, our group is really locked in on that scout, which is something we're going to have to carry over to the OVC.
We've chatted about this before, but I'll ask, how much do you rely on your staff? Because I know the way it's done, you know, staff, they're often working 3-4 games ahead, and you've got it divided up among different staff members on who's scouting what. How much do you lean on them?
Oh yeah, a ton. I mean, we have a primary scout person, we have a secondary person that's also watching film, and so each one of them has a certain conference team, and obviously playing a team in the league twice, you know, you get really familiar with a group in a program, but our staff is obviously hardworking, and we're getting to a place of, okay, not only are we telling our players we got to increase our competitiveness and our drive every day in practice, but coaches, hey, we got to pick things up too. We got to get to a place of working, making them compete. Obviously, from a scouting standpoint, having them really prepared for every game. And then on the recruiting trail right now, I think all of them are on the road right now as we speak. I was going to go to a game, and I was like, I have the coaches show, I can't go to a game. So.
Well, we appreciate you making them.
I'd rather be here. I'd rather be here.
Well, Coach, thanks again. Of course, we'll do this 5 more times during the year here at Global Brew. I know this group appreciates getting a chance to hear from you, getting a chance to hear from some of your players, and I know you like to get a chance to speak with all the Cougar fans.
Yeah, thank you all for coming so much. Obviously, KK Rodriguez, this is a 6th, 7th year player that's an area woman. I know when she was going through her decision-making, the Rayshawn Taylor situation was very similar, and so those two are buddies, pretty close friends. So just to be able to have a similar situation in the same room on the women's side of the program now, wow, and both of them are going to have some dynamic senior years in the Ohio Valley Conference. So
heck of a duo, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
No question about it.
Excited to see her in action more.
Well, thank you, and we'll do it again come January.
Yep, thank you so much.
Cougar Said women's basketball coach
Appreciate it.
Samantha Quigley-Smith. And we'll do this again coming in January with her again. Thank you very much.